Farming Practices in the Environment by Anna Marie Santos, Justin Walters, Danielle Guidry, and Andrea Keeler. What is farming practices? Farming practices can be a number of things. It can mean cattle farming or even crop farming. There are negative and positive things that come from farming as well. Positive things that come from farming is that farming can feed millions of people, which is a non-stop growing population. This could mean vegetables or meat, and a lot of other healthy foods for people and animals to consume. Growing crops and raising cattle also help a lot of families financially if they are in the farming business. These are called farm workers if they have jobs within the farming business. Negative things about farming is that it can ruin the environment. Many people don't think that it will, but there are scientific facts that it is a huge impact on why the earth is so toxic at times. It is also why we have such bad climate change as well. What is the problem with farming practices in the environment? The main problem about farming practices is that it has to do with climate change and the toxins from the cattle. It produces a lot of fumes in the air like CO2, methane, and nitrous oxide. Many people also think that climate change has to do with industrial and car fumes, but that's only a quarter of it from all over the years. How do we know this is the problem? There's a video of a guy who wants to know the key factors on why climate change is bad. He saw a test on the map where there is a lot of farming, and in that area, it was high in toxins. There was another test in science that has been done. A healthy 35-year-old man almost died. He had E. coli. They tested the lettuce from the company and the cattle, and it came out positive for toxins that were seeping into the water. What are current and future effects of the problem? Current effects. Although agriculture is essential in sustaining human life and affects our current farming processes, and they are damaging to our environment. The most notable of these effects include climate change, deforestation, pollution, and general environmental degradation. Climate change affects agriculture production through precipitation levels and temperature variations. Deforestation is on the rise, with many causes of forests being cleared for agricultural reasons and farmers seeking to increase agricultural production, which forces our wildlife out of their natural habitat and enhances the effects of climate change. Pollution that adversely affects people and wildlife is caused by widely used pesticides and fertilizers, which end up polluting our water sources. Although agriculture is not the sole cause of soil degradation, poor farming practices are known to cause considerable decline in the quality of soil. It mainly results from pesticide contamination. The key to protecting the environment against these harmful effects of unsafe agricultural practices is through sustainable practices. Future effects. Sustainable farming and agriculture is using farming practices considering the ecological cycles. This is done by promoting methods and practices that are economically viable, environmentally sound, and protect public health. Simply put, sustainable farming means production of food, plants, and animals. Products using farming techniques that prove to be beneficial for public health and promote economic profitability. Sustainable agriculture is said to be the wave of the future and is aimed to environmental protection with the help of preventing further damage to Earth. Blogwise lists the 5 sustainable and eco-friendly farming practices, and I will name the top 3. Permaculture, food production system that mimics how vegetables and plants grow in a natural ecosystem. Aquaponics and hydroponics, innovative farming methods without the use of soil. Agroforestry is a farming method which involves growing shrubs and trees among other plants and vegetables. It combines forestry and agricultural practices to guaranteeing a sustainable and highly productive approach to land use. The negative effects on public health. We are what we eat. The negative effects of industrial agriculture have been a growing concern for decades. Not only are we faced with environmental issues such as water pollution, air pollution, climate change, and soil degradation, we are also dealing with the impact that it has on human health. Factory farms inject large amounts of synthetic hormones to fatten up their livestock to ensure maximum profits. This is at the expense of human health. The use of these hormones promotes an unnatural growth of the livestock. When these hormones are ingested by humans, it alters human hormone levels and functions. The ingestion of these antibiotics make medical treatment methods less effective for humans, as it affects the resistance, making treatments less effective. Unsanitary farming methods ultimately have a negative impact on human health. Ammonia and hydrogen sulfide contribute to a range of respiratory and cardiovascular conditions. Evidence has linked pesticides and how the human body is able to develop and reproduce. This includes diabetes, obesity, birth defects, and miscarriages, as well as injuries to the nervous system. Typically, 400 chemicals can be used regularly on any given crop during a 5-month growing season. An apple crop can be sprayed with pesticides up to 16 times using 36 different pesticides. These pesticides penetrate our soil, air, and water, and ultimately the food we eat. We are what we eat. Doing our part. What can we do to help farming practices and the environment? Well, first, we can shift our lifestyle and consumer choices by changing the things we eat or where we go to buy the things that we eat, or how we grow our own crops or little gardens that we have in our yard. We can also help by trying to change how we do things so we aren't polluting the water and airs. We can get politically active and help out different nonprofits who might be able to reach out to the higher ups and get the help we need for our environment and the farming so that we can get better quality foods for us to consume. We can also support environmental nonprofits, and there are 6 different categories of environmental nonprofits. Those include ocean conservation, forest and reforestation, wildlife protection, social and environmental justice, climate action, and regenerative agriculture. Why should we support environmental nonprofits? This is because they have background research and do a lot of background research for things we need for farming and the environment. They have outlets like social media and reach out to different media sources and try to gain donations to get help from other people. They also have an action plan. They like to fulfill their missions, and by doing so, they need donations to fulfill the needs during their missions to help the earth. Things that can be done to help farming practices in the environment. This is the research being done. Farmers can use smart water management. By using a drop-by-drop or sprinkler irrigation system, you can increase the crop yield up to 50%. They can use variety selection, which is improved heat-tolerant varieties, allow the plant to maintain yield at higher temperatures. Conservation tillage. Applying conservation tillage's practice, you can save time, fuel, and machinery wear. Nitrogen is good for plant growth. Farm management software. Being able to manage your farm without tracking everything you can do can help put things into organization and see where you might need to improve for your farm, or maybe you're trying to see how much production you're putting out and what's coming in. So farm management software is going to be really helpful, especially nowadays. This is our reference page if you have any questions in regards to what sources were used.